Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
Steel Challenge. That's what we're going to talk about today on Gunfighter Life. Welcome to the podcast where we talk about guns, gunfighting tactics, ballistics. Today, Steel Challenge competition, the right way with Almighty God at the center, Judeo-Christian values, and real-world first-hand military, law enforcement, private contracting, competition shooting experience. Welcome. Okay, Steel Challenge. I shot Steel Challenge for a long time. I took a hiatus, and I recently got back into it this year, and I'm shooting it again, and it made me realize how awesome that competition is, how much fun it is, how useful it is for skill, and why maybe you should consider shooting it. I'll try to explain to you real simply kind of what Steel Challenge is. If I look something up from their official website or something, I'll let you know. But basically, I probably picked this up from somebody else, but I describe it as drag racing with a gun. You stand in a box. It's a shooter's box if you're familiar with IDPA or USPSA or any of the other big shooting disciplines, practical shooting disciplines. You're probably familiar with the shooting box. It's where you stand to shoot. And the buzzer goes off and you shoot the targets. They're all steel, as you might imagine from the name. And you shoot them as fast as you possibly can. The person who hits all the targets the fastest wins. That simplicity is one of the reasons I love it. One of the reasons I think it's best for beginners. There's a lot less rules. If you ever show up, if you've never shot a competition before and you show up to an IDPA USPSA match, the amount of rules might make your head spin. They're great. I love those too, but this is a lot more beginner friendly. Stand in box, buzzer goes off, hit all the targets as quick as you can. Notice I said hit all the targets, not just shoot at all the targets. Those are two different things. But that is Steel Challenge in a nutshell. Some of the stages have movement where you start in one box and go to another box. But it's a lot of fun. It's really simple. And I'll lay out later why it's got some of the most important and core concept skills you need as a modern day practical gunfighter, prepared person, well-regulated, however you want to put that. Good, useful skills germane to modern gunfighting. But let me talk about some of the different divisions. Another reason it's so nice to get into for beginners or intermediate or whoever you are is it has rimfire divisions. I don't generally shoot the rimfire. In fact, I don't know if I've ever shot a rimfire division, but they have them. They have rifle and pistol. I don't know the subcategories of each. I think they have 22 handgun with an optic and without an optic. They may have others. But you can bring a rimfire. And the cool thing about the rimfire division, even with the pistol, is you don't start from the holster. You start at the low ready. So that makes it even easier. It's cheap, it's affordable, less recoil. And if you're just getting in, if you're just showing up for the first time, unless you really want to go center fire, I would say, bring a rimfire. I was already pretty hot and heavy into shooting competitions when I started to shoot Steel Challenge. But if it's your first ever competition, you might look at bringing a rimfire. The biggest struggle with that for a lot of people is make sure it's reliable. Make sure your handgun, it should go without saying, but is zeroed for the ammo you're going to shoot in it. And make sure your 22 runs, it's clean, it's well lubricated, and it will run decently well with the ammo that you're going to shoot, because that can be very, very frustrating. Make sure your mags work in conjunction with your ammo, in conjunction with your handgun. That goes for anything, but especially with a 22 rimfire. And then they have the rifle rimfire division, which you shoot like a 10-22 or similar, semi-automatic, right? I guess if you want to show up with your lever action, you can. They're not going to kick you out, but there's no special, cowboy division. But same thing, you start at the low ready and you shoot the targets as quick as you can. This is the most beginner friendly because obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, I'm trying to explain it to you, but it's generally geared towards center fire handguns. So targets you can hit with a center fire handgun are pretty easy to hit with a 22 rimfire rifle. So if you really just want to show up and get the rhythm of things and just shoot, bring the 22 rifle, just bring up, Ruger 1022 with iron sights, right? What could be more easy to get in a competition than that? And make sure it runs with the ammo you're going to shoot in it, make sure it's zeroed, but show up and shoot and have a great time. It's really, really good for beginner shooters. And they have, if you're familiar with USPSA or if you're not, they have several divisions for center fire handgun. They have production division. Well, let me back up. You start in center fire handgun, you start out of the holster. So you start with your hands above your head, buzzer goes off, and you shoot you hit those targets as fast as you possibly can. There's 5 targets. There's a bunch of different arrays. They can be arrayed, and they're anywhere from 10 yards to certainly no more than 50 yards. I forget what the farthest target is. It can be pretty far, but no more than 50 yards. And you have to draw hands above your head and shoot those targets as fast as you can. Hit those targets as fast as you can. And they have production division, which is like out of the box. Can be just fairly out of the box. If you want to slum it and bring a Glock, you can. Out of the box handgun, bring your 320, bring your HK, your HK VP9, your Walther PDP. It's mostly geared towards your plastic Tupperware tactical stuff, your polymer striker-fired handguns. You can shoot a hammer-fired gun, but it has to be double single, and you have to shoot it double single. So if you wanted to bring like just a Beretta 92, you could do that. You have to shoot it double single action. Like the single action onlys are not okay for this division. But mostly this division is for plastic fantastics, polymer striker-fired handguns. No optic, just production division. Then they have kind of that division with an optic, which would be carry optics. This is the most popular division, I think, by far, at least where I shoot, probably nationwide. Carry optics. You put an optic on your handgun. These are broad generalizations, just show up, and if it comes to worse, your gun doesn't fit into a certain category, they'll put you in open. Don't worry about it. Just shoot. I'm trying to give you a rough idea. They just came out with a brand new division this year, which is limited optics. Well, I should back up. Limited is what I have been shooting in recently. Limited is just like iron-sighted handgun with modifications. Like mine has a magwell, which generally doesn't even help, but it just has it, so they put me in limited. Have your slide lightened, things like that. But iron sights is limited, and there's a bunch of other rules. But that's basically it. Like a modified handgun, iron sights would be limited. And now the new division is limited optics. So you can shoot a hammer-fired single-action only gun with an optic that will be limited optics. And then open is kind of what you think of as your race guns. Like the old school 38 Supers with a comp and the optic mounted on the frame, not the slide, going crazy fast. That will be open division. And then there is a PCC division, which if that's your thing, show up and rock the PCC. But if it's your first one, I'd say probably show up with a rimfire because you're just learning, and the thing is, skills are the same. But there is a PCC division, so if you're a PCC guy, you want to get into it, Steel Challenge. Now, let me talk about why I think it is really, really good, especially if you're talking about center fire handgun. That is the gun, if you conceal carry in America, if you carry, it's the gun that's always on you. It's the gun you should be proficient with. Handguns are much harder to master than long guns. It's a much more perishable skill. You should be adequate and well regulated with that gun. People always, and I'm pro Second Amendment, obviously, but like, shall not be infringed. I get it, but also it says well regulated. Don't be shouting the shall not be infringed and not be well regulated, right? That's on you. Power, responsibility. Yeah, of course you have the right to defend yourself and carry a gun, but also, what does the Second Amendment say? Be well regulated. A lot of people carry guns as like tactical comfort blankies. They have it on them and they feel safe. If you can't get that gun into action and get quick, accurate hits, first, second, third round hits on target quickly, it's a tactical teddy bear for you. You squeeze it when you feel sad. I don't know, but it's not really going to help you if you can't get it into action and get hits on target quickly. Steel Challenge is fantastic at that. I have worked at indoor ranges. I have managed indoor ranges. Like, I get why they exist, especially back east. But if you're just picking your gun up out of a case off a table and shooting a static, giant silhouette target at 3 yards, 5 yards, 7 yards, with no time limit, like, how practical is that really? When gunfights go down, especially as a concealed carrier, things generally go from, static to crazy real fast, from 0 to 60 real fast. You need to get your gun into action real fast a lot of the times. Well, that's what Steel Challenge is all about. Again, kind of drag racing with a handgun. You start static and you grab that gun and you go to work as fast as you can. You have to get good, accurate hits on target quickly. Now, don't worry about it if you're just showing up new. Don't worry about being fast. Worry about just hitting the targets. Speed will come if you keep at it and you practice and you dry fire. But that is the skill, like going from static to fast and getting hits on target quickly. That is like the core of everything for you as, being prepared in day-to-day life with your handgun. Can you get that gun into action quickly? Can you get hits on target quickly? Testing your kit. Does the system actually...
Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day Home Care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit ActiveDay.com to apply.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting radio-exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
Work. Oh, wait, maybe wiener carry or whatever they call it, appendix carry. Maybe that's not such a good idea. Maybe I should carry strong side hip like is the standard for a reason. I'm not actually wearing a suit like the Bureau of Investigation, so the FBI can't on my holster probably doesn't make sense. You'll find that out through running through these courses. You get to test your kit. Do my magazines actually work? Do they explode when I drop them on the concrete several times in a day? Is my gun handling competent? An affliction that afflicts many shooters, especially when they're new to competition, is when the buzzer goes off and they're stressed, does my brain turn into a gelatinous mess and run out of my ears when the timer goes off? Because I'm so freaked out about the timer and trying to go fast and not look silly in front of a bunch of people that everything just kind of falls out of my brain. You'll see that. Well, stress inoculation is a thing, right? One of the reasons boot camp exists. Well, some of it is to build core skills and concepts, but a lot of that is stress inoculation. Right? The time that you're getting shot at for the first time is probably not the time to figure out whether or not you can perform complex tasks under stress. Probably should have done that before. And you would not believe the amount of stress that a timer and a bunch of people watching can put on some people. Again, better to look silly on a shooting competition range than to catch one in the face because you can't perform under stress. Core concepts. A good solid draw. Getting hits under stress, under time. I know there are trainers out there that are like not proponents of timers. I guess they figure that their people are going to have all the time in the world to do whatever they need to do. But I do not concur. I do not concur with that. Let's just put it that way. The only way to know how fast you are is a timer. You can't really predict how fast you are. Even with me, even with all the draws I've done, and all the competitions and all the things that I've done, unless I have a timer, like sometimes I feel like I'm drawing really slow and I'm just burning it down when I look at the timer. Sometimes it feels like I'm taking forever and my shots are really fast. Sometimes it feels like I'm going really fast, but my time is slow, mostly because I'm adding a bunch of extra steps I don't have to add. Or instead of doing things all at once, I'm doing them step by step, which is super glacially slow. So the point of that is you kind of need a timer and you kind of need to know the time that you shoot in. This will help with that. Shooting multiple targets quickly. That's a thing. So, is it the end-all, be-all? Are there core skill? Are there a lot of other gunfighter skills? I'm not saying this is the only thing you should ever have to do, but if you're doing nothing, this is way, way better than that. There are skills like in USPSA and IDPA, and if you want to shoot those also, that's fine. Should you probably know how to do a reload when you're sprinting from one place to another? Yeah, that's a good skill to have, but the likelihood of that happening in a real-world scenario is far less than the odds you're going to have to get first, second, third round hits on target quickly and be able to hit accurately and quickly. Because if you can't do that, all the reloads in the world aren't going to matter. Is it cool that you can shoot all positions on a VTAC barricade, slanted 45 degrees one way, 45 degrees another way through a little small port? That's super cool, and it can come in handy in a real-world scenario if you're trying to, shoot under a car in the urban prone position. Yeah, that's a good skill that you should practice. But again, if you can't get out of your holster quickly and get hits on target quickly, that skill is probably way down the road. That's secondary, tertiary skill building. Get the core. Get your gun out and get fast, accurate hits on target quickly. Now, if it were me and I was in charge of a bunch of stuff, I would probably keep the Steel Challenge the way it is, and I would make a spin-off and call it like the Survival Steel Challenge or something. I would modify it a little bit. Could it use some work if it was just geared towards making you really good as far as martially? Yeah, you could have some targets that you hit once, some targets that you hit twice and 3 times and 4 times, like different colors of steel. This one gets 1, this one gets 2, this one gets 4, because not every target only gets 1 shot in the real world. I might have some stages started from a different position, some from kneeling. I might have you start like on your back or on your stomach and have to get up before you draw, like things like that. But it's really good the way that it is. It's not perfect, but competition is never going to be perfect. It's never going to be a 1-to-1 ratio for real-world stuff because you're not actually getting shot at, and that's a good thing. But it's a lot better than doing nothing or going to the indoor range with the same group of buddies every week. If you want to do that for camaraderie and stuff, that's great, but this is a really good way to grow in your well-regulated day-to-day carry operations, if we want to call it that. It's a good thing to do in practice. So I'm talking about, I don't think it gets the love that it deserves. It may not, look as cool as like the John Wick, and that's USPSA. That's like one of my favorites. It's what John Wick actually trains for his movies. Not John Wick, whatever the actor's name is. I don't have TV. But he shoots USPSA like style competitions with good USPSA guys. That's what that is, and that's great. And I'd encourage you to do that too. But Steel Challenge is a good place to start. You can't get your gun out of the holster quickly and get hits on target quickly. All the other stuff's not going to matter at USPSA. I've shot and won more USPSA competitions than I can remember. Same with Steel Challenge. But I'm here to tell you, Steel Challenge, don't overlook it. And I think it is overlooked, and that's why we're talking about it here. It's also one of the more affordable ones to get into. Especially if you want to shoot rimfire. If you're really on a budget, shoot rimfire. Instead of maybe buying that next gun, buy a couple of bricks of 22 and show up to a Steel Challenge competition. Like, I really like 3-gun. I briefly got into 3-gun and got out of quick 3-gun, not because it wasn't fun, but just because it was so expensive and time consuming. Not only do I have to reload handgun, but I got to reload rifle and shotgun, or just have a ton of money. And I was a full-time police officer at the time. It was a lot of money. The Steel Challenge, again, is one of the more affordable ones to shoot. It's also nationally sanctioned. I like outlaw steel matches too. Actually, they're probably my favorite. But they're not going to be, available throughout the country. These will be. Oh, and your tactical tip of the day. I guess this is not common knowledge, but there is a website called Practice Score where you can find matches. It's got like an interactive map. You type in your city, your zip code, whatever. It'll show matches near you. One of the guys was like, I don't think there's any matches near me. And not to knock him, he didn't know about the site. And I looked it up, and there was over 100. I knew he lived on the East Coast. Like, the East Coast is a people hive. There are matches everywhere on the East Coast. So, Practice Score. I'm not going to insult you. I'm sure you can figure out how to find it now that you know about it. Also, I should give a brief rundown. If you're going to go with rimfire, again, make sure it's reliable. You don't need a holster or anything for that. If you have 5 mags, bring 5 mags. I mean, if you have 6, bring 6 in case one doesn't work out. But that should be plenty. If you have 3, go with it. People there should be super nice and friendly. They generally are. And just have somebody else load mags. Like when you're shooting one, have them load the other. With a center fire handgun, bring what you have. I'm shooting a old Gen 1 Smith & Wesson M&P right now. I may switch that soon. But I was like, let me just bring an old polymer striker fire Gen 1 Smith & Wesson M&P. It's got some mods on it, but bring what you have. They'll put you in whatever division it fits in. Don't even worry about that. Bring what you have. A good hard Kydex plastic type holster. Doesn't have to be expensive. And if you have 5 mags, bring 5 mags. The way it works is there's several stages, but each stage you run 5 times. For 5 targets. If you hit every one, good. But if you miss a bunch, the best practice, especially when you're new, is to just change mags every run. Reload them before the next stage. If you have 5, that's fine. If you only have 3, don't let that stop you from going to the competition. If you only have 2, don't let that stop you. Just have somebody else load your mags when you are shooting. It's not uncommon. Show up with what you have, a good holster, basically eye and ear protection, right? But again, it's beginner friendly. So show up with what you have. I would bring bring 200 rounds of ammunition. You hopefully won't shoot all that, but just bring it just in case. Show up and have a good time. There's usually a match fee. Mine's like $15. The most important thing, show up with a good attitude, be humble, be there to learn, be safe, and have a good time. But I would encourage you this year I did a poll on Patreon, and I would hope that the regular listeners to this and the patrons and the people that are on Patreon or go to the Patreon page for this, by the way, go there, Patreon. There should be a link in the show notes to my Patreon page. But many people were not considering going to professional training or a shooting competition this year. Are you just in this to collect guns? And if you are, cool. Tune in when I talk about ballistics. Tune in when I talk about, cool classic guns or whatever. That stuff's cool. But if you want to be good, take a professional training class, go to a competition, do something. Podcasts are great. You can learn a lot of things to practice in podcasts, in audio, and things like that. That's one of the reasons I like long-form audio. That's one of the reasons I do podcasts and a lot of Dancing Monkey on YouTube Shorts. I actually started that, and it was doing really well, and I quit because I didn't want to be one of those. But you got to put those core concepts into practice. You have to get the rubber to meet the road. You got to go out there and shoot and put rounds down range. And then you should probably do it under stress. Take a professional training course, go to competition. Both of those are good. I would say do both, but do one. You start with one. And again, Steel Challenge is a good place to start. Anyway, with that, you probably could guess one of my favorite tactical verses that I'm going to whip out for today. Blessed be the Lord my rock, who trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle. Thanks for listening, and have a blessed day.